Another podcast for you. It's an introduction to personality assessment, and this will be loaded into my playlist on my YouTube channel for the assessment class I'm teaching. So if you're in a K-CREP counseling program, this would be the test measurement and assessment class, which is one of the 8 core areas, and it's tested on the national counselor exam, so forth. This will be a good overview of some of the primary personality tests, 5-factor model, Jungian type test, which includes Myers-Briggs, also light triad, dark triad. There may even be a little bit about Enneagram. Not certain about that one, but it's a good overview of these personality tests. And personality is critical to understand in order for you to negotiate what your goals in life are, relationships, how you fit in the world, what your strengths are, and so forth. So I think personality is just critical, that the more we understand, the more fully functioning we can be in the world and with our friends and partners and so forth. All right, what I've done is I've taken my notes over the 20 years I've taught this class, and I've loaded them into a Google product that's free, Notebook LM, and then I ask it to generate a podcast. So the voices you're hearing are AI voices. They've analyzed my notes and then are highlighting some of the key points of these personality factors. I don't have names for these 2 voices yet, so if you think of good names, let me know. But I think they did a good job. I don't remember, there were no inaccuracies. However, and I don't even think there were any mispronunciations in this particular video. Sometimes that's an issue. But let me know your thoughts on this, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Take good care.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're getting into personality assessment.
Yeah, unlocking some secrets there.
Exactly. You've given us this great stack of notes, really digging into things like, Jungian models, the big 5.
Real deep dive, for sure.
And our mission, really, is to pull out the key stuff, give you a shortcut to understanding why we assess personality and how it's done.
Absolutely. And it's fascinating stuff. These frameworks, they offer real clarity, helping make sense of, ourselves and the people around us. We'll grab those insights that, really matter, guide you through the landscape of human traits, which can be pretty surprising sometimes.
Okay, so let's jump right in then. Beyond just academic curiosity, why is it actually important for you listening right now to get a handle on personality assessment?
Oh, it's fundamental, really. For organizations, maybe teams you work in, it helps build better units, figure out leadership roles,
right.
Even just navigating conflicts with, more understanding.
Makes sense.
And for you personally, huge value in self-awareness. Think about understanding why some interactions just flow and others, they're tough.
Yeah.
Knowing this stuff can genuinely change your relationships, maybe guide your career choices, just boost your well-being by knowing why you tick the way you do. And others too.
That is powerful. So it's not just sticking a label on someone. It's more like a roadmap for living more effectively.
Exactly.
And speaking of maps, one way your notes categorize personality is through these things called triads. The one people maybe hear about most is the dark triad.
Indeed. Yeah, the dark triad, it's made up of narcissism, that's the sort of excessive self-admiration, grandiosity. Then Machiavellianism, a more manipulative, cynical view focused on self-interest.
Okay.
And psychopathy, which is characterized by, a lack of empathy, being impulsive, and sometimes antisocial behavior.
Right.
Recognizing these isn't about judging people, of course. It's more about understanding certain patterns and their potential impact, especially in tricky interpersonal situations.
Okay, that sounds, quite intense. But the notes also pointed to a kind of counterbalance, the bright triad. How does that change the picture?
Right. The bright triad focuses on the positive, the pro-social traits, the things that help us connect and thrive.
So what are those?
We're talking emotional stability, staying calm, resilient, handling stress well.
Okay.
Agreeableness, which includes real morality, altruism, caring about others, and conscientiousness. That's about being reliable, disciplined, having self-efficacy, getting things done. These are the qualities that often fuel cooperation, productivity, growth, both personal and, in groups.
So we've gone from the shadows to the light. But here's where it got really interesting for me in your notes.
Yeah.
There's another one mentioned, the light triad. What makes that different from just being bright or, good?
Oh, yes. The light triad is subtly different. It's less about specific actions and more about a fundamental orientation towards humanity, your core approach to others.
Okay. Tell me more.
It has 3 main parts. First, authenticity. This means really preferring honesty over just being charming, being genuinely interested in other people and not judging them. Second, Kantianism. It's named after Kant, the philosopher. It's about respecting others deeply, seeing them as valuable in themselves, not just as tools, admiring their success, valuing all kinds of people and cultures.
Wow.
And third, Humanism. This is a basic trust in people, being quick to forgive, actively looking for the good in others.
That feels like a really profound difference, not just behavior, but a core worldview, from the potentially destructive side to this framework for deep connection. Really makes you think.
It does.
But okay, beyond these fascinating triads, what about the big assessment models people actually encounter, like in workplaces or online quizzes?
Well, the notes definitely highlighted the two major ones.
Yeah.
The Jungian assessment, often seen in tools like the MBTI.
Right, Myers-Briggs.
Exactly. And the five-factor model, usually called the Big Five.
Okay, so how do they differ? What do they tell you?
The Jungian approach is more about your sort of innate preferences, your psychological type, how you naturally prefer to take in information or make decisions, like your internal operating system, maybe.
Interesting analogy.
The Big Five, though, is more descriptive. It maps personality onto 5 broad dimensions: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Usually on a spectrum, it's often seen as better for predicting actual behavior.
So different lenses on the same complex thing, personality. But the big question for anyone looking for real insight, how scientifically solid are these? Can you trust the results?
Excellent question, and crucial. When we talk science here, a key idea is convergent validity.
Convergent validity meaning?
Basically, it means that different tools designed to measure similar things should give results that line up, that correlate. If different maps show the same landmarks in roughly the same place, you trust the maps more.
Makes sense. So what does the research actually show? You mentioned study, Hook et al.
Yeah, that study and others like it show positive convergent validity. They found meaningful links, correlations between Jungian-based tests, the Enneagram, and the MBTI.
Okay.
And also between the Big Five and the Enneagram. It doesn't mean they're identical, they each offer unique views, but it suggests they are tapping into related, real aspects of personality. That gives us some confidence.
Right. So wrapping this up then, what's the big takeaway for you listening? It seems like from understanding, say, the dark triad's shadows to embracing the light triad's perspective and using frameworks like Jungian or Big Five, personality assessment offers some really deep insights.
Absolutely. Into what makes us human, unique. It's a powerful tool for self-discovery and for understanding the people you interact with every day.
A lot to think about there.
Definitely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. If understanding these traits illuminates so much, what's one aspect of your own light triad, perhaps your authenticity, your Kantianism, or your humanism, that you could consciously try to cultivate a bit more this week? How might that enhance your interactions, deepen those connections?